حدود یک ماه پیش پارلمان کانادا به اتفاق قرار تصویب کرد که سپاه پاسداران باید در فهرست گروه‌های تروریستی قرار بگیره.
بله و این اتفاق بالاخره رخ داد و دولت کانادا سپاه پاسداران رو یک نهاد تروریستی نامگذاری کرد. همکارانمون مصاحبه با سناتور هوساکاس رئیس سنای کانادا تا سال 2015 و رئیس کنونی کمیته ترابری و ارتباطات سنای کانادا در همین رابطه داشتن که اجازه بدید در این قسمت از برنامه اون رو با هم ببینیم.
Thank you very much for giving us your time, Senator Houseakos. You have already been a pioneer in condemning human rights violations and exposing the Iranian regime's criminal activities in Canada, particularly regarding the Islamic Revolutionary Guards Corps, IRGC, and your efforts to have it designated as a terrorist organization. Could you please tell us about the history of this activity for Iranians and our viewers?
Absolutely. There's no greater honor for me than to serve in the Senate of Canada and to represent, of course, the various diverse communities in this country. And no community is more closer to my heart than the Iranian community here in Montreal, Toronto, and right across Canada, a vibrant Canadian community that has made huge contributions to our Canadian society, freedom-loving people who embrace democracy and the importance of it, and of course have not forgotten about their brothers and sisters back in Iran who don't have the same privileges and same honors that we do as Canadians. But instead of coming to Canada, as thousands of Iranian Canadians have, and turning their back on their brothers and sisters, they've been active here, they've been sensitizing Canadian Parliament. I've been proud to do my small part in helping push for it, to push for the IRGC to be listed as a brutal terrorist organization that it is. I've been trying to put pressure on a reluctant Trudeau government to go after IRGC supporters, friends and family that use Canada as a haven, and also use Canada as a place where they intimidate other Canadians of Iranian descent. That kind of activity is unacceptable to a country like Canada. It's unacceptable to the Persian Canadian community. So we've been fighting, we in the Conservative Party, for many years, both in the House of Commons and in the Senate, passing motion after motion, calling on the Canadian government to list the IRGC as a terrorist organization. Unfortunately, it took Mr. Trudeau 9 years to do it, but he finally got it done last week. He showed everyone that he's been dragging his feet unnecessarily, because when there was the political will to get it done, it was done in a few minutes.
Thank you very much, Senator. That was perfect. That was wonderful. The second question, what do you see from here on? What steps needs to be taken inside Canada and in global political spectrum?
Well, number one, it was a great step forward to list the IRGC as a terrorist organization. Number two, it took just as many years to finally get Bill C-70 passed, which had got through the House of Commons and the Senate last week, creating a foreign influence registry in Canada. And in essence, this registry makes it illegal for foreign governments to come into Canada and try to interfere with various institutions, particularly our democracy, our elections, our various institutions, be it academia, protecting our intellectual property. I can go on and on. It took the Trudeau government, again, almost a decade to finally accept foreign interference as a serious problem in Canada. It's been a serious problem from various dictatorships around the world and nefarious forces, led by the IRGC, led by China, led by Russia, all these anti-democratic forces that are trying to come into Canada, trying to undermine our democracy, most importantly, intimidate Canadians of the various diaspora. It's high time that we pass this bill, and now it's high time that we also show the political will and we instruct our national security forces, the RCMP, to once and for all go after these individuals that use Canada as a place to launder money, as a base, and also particularly the IRGC and others who come to Canada and intimidate Canadians of the diaspora by basically force, by intimidation, by economic means, the message should be loud and clear that Canada will no longer be a haven for that kind of behavior, won't be acceptable. And we also have to remember every single Canadian immigrant that has come to this country, from wherever we come, because we're all children of immigrants or immigrants ourselves who've come to Canada. That's what Canada is all about. We come here for freedom. We come here for democracy, and we come here for the protection of the rule of law. So the Persian community deserves that. Every other community deserves that as well. And I, as a parliamentarian, will continue to fight for that until the Canadian government finally gets it done.
Wonderful. Last question, Senator, how do you see the Iranian opposition members who approached members of parliament and Senate and Canadian Senate to bring this issue on your table? How do you see them? How do you relate to them?
Well, as I said earlier on, I'm so proud of the Canadian-Iranian community. They have embraced democracy and freedom. They fight for it on a regular basis. They participate with the political process. And unfortunately, this week, I'm not able to be present in Berlin with other freedom-fighting Iranians from around the world that have come together on an annual basis to continue to fight for democracy, continue to fight for the downfall of that horrific, brutal regime in Iran that is basically trampling on basic rights of the Iranian people. The Iranian people and the Iranian culture is a historic one. It's a rich one. And it's one that deserves, the Iranian people more than ever deserve to live in freedom and liberty and be able to pursue and continue to contribute to the world as they have for so many years.